So the Donald Trump economy is really in bad shape. And in fact, it may be even worse than we previously thought. Look at this. Fed Chair Jerome Powell says US may be drastically overstating job numbers. Again, I'll repeat, drastically overstating jobs numbers. And we're talking about possibly overcounting by 60,000 a month. So, simple example, if Trump comes out and says, guys, 40,000 jobs added this month, right? Well, if you're off by 60,000, in fact, you could be losing 20,000 jobs. So, for example, this is the Wall Street Journal. They put out this chart today. You got net monthly U.S. job gains. Okay, this goes back to May. And the blue line there is the official estimate. And then they say after a potential 60,000 revision to the downside, then you got essentially the pink lines there. And so, as I just said before, we've been talking about how already the economy and the jobs numbers look bad, but they could be even worse than we previously thought. Remember, Trump comes out and just says, he goes on national TV and says the economy is an A plus 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 plus. Yes, he really does say these stupid things. He goes out to the casino. It really is a casino, and tries to tell everyone that, we're going to talk about affordability. Then he goes on and on about you only get $2, not 37 or whatever. And it's a South Park timeline. That's the only way to describe this thing. I checked the White House. What are they tweeting today? Trump's selling you a gold card. This is an actual tweet. It's like, what? It doesn't feel real because it's so absurd, right? We knew the gold card thing was coming, but now I guess it's officially here. Yes, there is a website. I'll show you in a moment here. And we have South Park, which honestly feels basically like it's telling you the truth. It feels like a documentary at this point. You can watch the last episode. It's pretty funny. They show this whacked out people in Trump's orbit, right? Be it Peter Thiel, Hegseth, Vance, whatever, right? Bondi's there. They're all there. And these people are cartoon characters, both in real life and in the cartoon. And when you look at, say, for example, this is JD Vance. This is a real tweet just from a few hours ago. Listen to what he's saying. It's nuts. This is JD Vance. It says, yesterday at church, the Bible readings started on page 66 and 67, as you probably know where this is going, of the Missal. And my 5-year-old went absolutely nuts, repeating 6-7 like 10 times. Great. And now I think we need to make this narrow exception to the First Amendment and ban these numbers forever. Where did this even come from? I don't understand it. When we were kids, all the viral trends at least had an origin story. And basically, this just reflects the dumb society that we're in. That's just basically what it is, right? Our political leaders, are in cartoons, and they actually are portrayed basically the way that they are in real life. And then they're complaining about their kids, laughing at nonsensical stuff. And I guess it's a big problem in USA these days, the whole kids 6-7 meme or whatever. But what do you expect, right? When we dumb down education, we sell people gold cards as $1 million, $2 million, and then we overcount the jobs numbers by 60,000 a month, perhaps. Who knows? It could be more for all we know. And it's crazy when Jerome Powell's talking about it. It's like, this is Jerome Powell. And he's a pretty reserved guy, actually. This is what he says. We think there's an overstatement in these numbers, okay? It's complicated, unusual, and a difficult situation where the labor market is also under pressure, where job creation may actually be negative. Again, perhaps overstating by 60,000 a month. While the cartoony South Park stuff's going on in the White House, whatever, we're sending the U.S. military to go seize oil vessels off the coast of Venezuela. You can follow my last video on that. We actually have footage of the said thing. Venezuela comes out and says that's an act of piracy. I don't know what to say other than I think Trump's trying to cause a war down there, and I guess we're going after the oil. I mean, he literally says we're going to take the oil. You can find that. Just watch my last video if you haven't seen it already. And then Trump tells you we're all going to be rich, etc. For reals. I guess, according to the White House, America's winning again. Clap, clap. 60,000 new jobs in Pennsylvania with an American flag, of course, which is kind of funny because Powell literally is like, yo, we could be overstating by 60,000, and then suddenly we got 60,000 jobs in Pennsylvania. It's kind of funny how that works out. And then I guess we got 100 billion supposedly investment in Pennsylvania. That's the Trump effect, I guess. Okay, great. And you're selling the $1 million gold cards, but I've seen numbers like 5 million also. There's different ones. This is actually the website. Basically, they're selling it like a credit card marketing. I don't even know what to say. I mean, it's a Trump gold card. It says unlock life in America. Apply now. They really are selling it like a credit card type of thing. It is as stupid as it sounds. It's as dumb as it sounds. There's Trump's face, American Eagle, Statue of Liberty, Trump gold card. Yeah. And if you so desire, you can get the platinum card. I think that's the $5 million one. $50,000 to apply for said things. They even say you can wire the money. No, seriously. 1 million or 2 million gift payment. I call it a gift, but upon receiving an email after vetting is complete, applicants or their corporate sponsors should instruct their banks to use ACH, debit, or Swift wire transfer. U.S. and international bank accounts, whatever, right? Okay, fine. Great. Submit your application now, American Eagle. Trump gold card. How can we take any of this stuff seriously? Like it's sick, it's sad, it's scary all at the same time. They're also now going to check 5 years of your social media if you want to visit the USA. I'll just be frank, don't go. It's not worth it. My wife and I, we were talking about it. I mean, I'm an American citizen, but I was naturalized, meaning that I was not born in USA. I was born in Vietnam. Trump's been talking about denaturalizing people. They're just arresting people. I mean, you can see it. My wife's not American, so it's just not safe. I'll just be frank. It's just not safe for us. Tourists to the U.S. would have to reveal 5 years of social media activity under new Trump plan. So there's that. And they're going to go through all kinds of stuff. It really is that. I'll read it because I know people, have probably made trips in the past to the USA. So what it says, tourism to the United States would have to reveal, tourists that is, would have to reveal their social media activity for the last 5 years under new Trump admin plans. The mandatory new disclosures would apply to the 42 countries that are involved in this, whose nationals are currently permitted to enter the U.S. without a visa. So there's a bunch of countries on the list, including Britain, France, Australia, Germany, and Japan. And again, in the total list is 42 countries. So it's going to be basically everyone I at this point. And then it says that they want a whole bunch. And a notice published on Tuesday, U.S. Customs and Border said it would also require any telephone numbers used by visitors over the same period, so the last 5 years. Email addresses in the last decade, so the last 10 years. They want your face, fingerprint, DNA, iris biometrics. Would also ask for names, addresses, birth dates, and birthplaces of family members, including children. So they want everything. And I guess they are now also building a fleet, if you want to call it that. 737s, says DHS Inc.'s contract to create its own fleet of 737 jets for deportations. So I guess book your trip to the USA now, and you may get a surprise visit to El Salvador or wherever, right? Someone actually in our community wrote this: scan your passport and print it on your t-shirt. I wrote at this point that might be a thing. And that refers to the last video. Please watch it. What's going on in Minnesota. You really should see what's happening there. I'll just put it that way. And it's sick what the Trump people are doing. It's also good to see communities standing up against Trump. Not everyone is on the MAGA train. You can watch it, but there's basically the local police and the mayor is concerned about helping local people. And I don't know where Trump's finding these ICE goons. I don't know where. They're all masked. Who knows? But I'll just say this: it looks bad, and I think something's going to happen in a negative way if Trump keeps this up. I just watch the video for yourself. You'll see it's really escalating quickly. I'll just leave it at that. So the idea of scanning your passport, putting it on your T-shirt is not crazy at this point. It's not. The whole thing is nuts. Our world is completely whacked out, and it's in a massive bubble right now. This is happening at the moment. Oracle shares plummet 11% in the pre-market. Basically, it just represents our bubble. They're part of the circular financing game with OpenAI, and I think Microsoft's involved with this stuff, and Apple. Everyone's involved, the whole gang. And then you also have the Fed. It was interesting to read this. Financial Times states it. I'll read it. It says Fed to launch 40 billion debt buying scheme after money market strains. I think we're doing short-term debt here. And then the CNBC mentioned Fed starts stealth easing, right? So basically printing the money up again. Now, we'll see where this goes. In my opinion, Trump's going to try to put his guy Hassett in his Fed chair, try to stack the Fed, try to get them to cut rates and just print to infinity. And then I guess we're building data centers to infinity. I've mentioned this stuff several times. From Trump's point of view, we got to beat China, right? And this is an interesting one where China's clobbering USA in terms of power in terms of electricity is a better way to say it. And it matters because if you want to build, data centers to infinity, you got to figure out how to power said things. Trump is only interested in certainly one kind of energy, right? Basically dirty energy. He's not interested in clean energy because that's not where his campaign, constituents are, or, donors, however you want to call it. The whole thing is whacked out. This whole everything's whacked out. Every day it's just totally whacked out. But yes, I can see in the chart there where, the infrastructure is going and China's in the lead. I can see it. This is coming from the Wall Street Journal here. They show where the power needs are going to be in the future. And this is important because you put all this stuff together. We're overstating our jobs, so things are way worse than they look. Trump's whole economic plan is to just push AI like nuts, right? And there's a lot of concerns with AI. So this was something that just came out today. I saw it. OpenAI, Anthropic, and others received warning letters from dozens of state attorney generals, right? Microsoft and Apple are also on this list. Basically, they're just saying like, hey, your chatbots are serious problems for our kids. Could be having conversations of all sorts of stuff. I'll just say this. They listed a lot of things. I can't even say it on YouTube, but I'll just say it involves violent activities, right? Any number of things, medical stuff. It's just, I'll just say you do want to be concerned of how children are using the internet. We'll put it that way. And the chatbots can get involved with all kinds of, it's like a wide range of things. I'll leave it at that. And, when you involve your children and stuff like that, their developing minds, they don't have the mechanism in place. Like a simple example is, we put ratings on movies, right? And there's some things you just don't want kids to see everything. I'll put the most simplest terms, right? They don't need to see everything. Like I like Game of Thrones, but you don't need kids watching that stuff. And I know if your parents are like, man, my kids, some of the stuff they watch is like, whoa, definitely shouldn't be watching that, right? But you get it, And it's like, how do you explain this era to kids right now, where Trump and his ilk, like South Park represents who they are, and it's like when I watch this stuff, it just feels like a documentary. It's crazy. And then when you see someone like Jerome Powell saying, guys, we might be drastically overstating jobs numbers, that's where we're at. And I think things are way worse than we even realize. Because you know it from, I can hear it from people in our community, it from the ground. I have friends that tell me things, so I can hear from certain cities or certain industries, but I don't know all 50 states exactly. That's why you look at national data. You want to get a sense of it. That's why I go over with various stories and we share ideas of this stuff. And then even when Fed, Powell's basically ringing an alarm here, and then you look at Trump, it's like we're heading to total meltdown. I think, in my opinion, it's going to be awful. You're going to looking at probably stagflation. So we're going to have worries about growth. So probably have growth scares in this. We're probably going to have unemployment go up, I would imagine. And also just the overall angst of, people, I wish I were to say it. The way the Trump people set up society is, think of Squid Game, where, they get you focused on, hey, there's a, money prize at the top, and you see this big money thing hanging up above you, right? Especially what Squid Game is a big money pot. And so Trump will always dangle some sort of money pot, be it, you're all going to get $2,000 on the tariff rebates or whatever, or $5,000 from Doge or whatever stupid thing they're going to come up with. And then they get you to like hate your neighbor. And so you think I have to compete with my neighbor to get that $2,000. It's never going to come. It's like that's what it is. And it's so hard to go through this stuff every day because I know how Trump's game is played. We look at it all the time. And I know how people get fooled by said game. That's what's even more crazy. And so I just try to lay it out for you. every day. And I do appreciate you watching. I sincerely do. So I'll catch you guys all in the next time. Please share your thoughts.